explain the religion. It's obligatory to follow his sunnah as a whole, considering what he made obligatory to be obligatory, and what he made recommended to be recommended, and what he made to be permissible to be kept permissible. So no one can come and say, the 2 rak'ahs before Fajr, I want me to change that to become obligatory, like the Fajr itself. This person have gone against what? The way of the Prophet ﷺ. Because the way of the Prophet ﷺ is that the Fajr prayer is obligatory and the 2 rak'ah before the Fajr prayer are only recommended. Here it goes back to what I said earlier in maybe 2 or 3 episodes ago about the definition of Sunnah. That it's not necessarily to mean the recommended act. It means the way of the Prophet ﷺ. That's why, or for this reason, you will find a great Imam like Imam Sufyan al-Thawri, Amir al-Mu'mineen fil Hadith. He's a great Imam. They used to say al-Thawri in his time like Abu Bakr al-Siddiq in Abu Bakr's time. See how people used to look to Abu Bakr in Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu's time? This is the same way people used to look at Sufyan al-Thawri. He's a great Imam. Sufyan al-Thawri said, As-Sunnah is of 2 types. A Sunnah that taking of which is a guidance and leaving of which is a misguidance. And a Sunnah which is taking of is a guidance but leaving it is not a misguidance. Yani, what he means by that, there is a Sunnah, if you leave it you will be misguided. You will be dal, you will leave Islam. If you leave the way of the Prophet ﷺ. But there is other issue in the way of the Prophet ﷺ. Small details, things which is recommended or permissible. You might not be, for some reason, you did not pray the 2 rak'ahs of the Fajr in that day. It doesn't mean that you will be misguided. But if you cancel it, if you change the rules, if you said there is no need for it, if you said let's just take it out from the religion, in this case you will be misguided. In more clear words, Makhul, which is one of the tabi'een, the great scholars among the tabi'een, said, the successors said, a sunnah is of 2 types. A sunnah that taking of which is an obligation, and the leaving of which is kufr. And a sunnah which is the taking of is virtuous and recommended, but leaving it is not a sin. So here the first type of sunnah, talking about the way of the Prophet. If you choose other than the Prophet ﷺ to follow his footsteps, to take his way, this is kufr. And if somebody, no, when you come to the sunnah which is related to the sunnah as a recommended act, leaving any recommended act is not a kufr, it's not even a sin. It's not even a sin. So, we're talking here about following the sunnah as a whole. The way of the Prophet ﷺ. That's what we are talking about here in this course or in this program. Following the Prophet ﷺ's sunnah or the obligation, the evidence proving the obligation to follow the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ are so many. You will find these rules, the scholars categorize them to, or said there is different type of rules. Rules from Quran, or evidence from Quran. Evidence from the Prophet ﷺ's statements and sunnah. Also there is ijma', consensus among the scholars. Observation, and qiyas al-awla, or a prior analogy, and also the logic. But what we can do, we can say just the logic, and that will include the prior analogy. Anyway, just let's see some examples from the evidence, from this evidence or these proofs from the Quran. Imam Ahmad rahimahullah said, I read the whole entire Quran, and I found that Allah has ordered us to obey the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam 33 times. These commands in Quran to follow the Prophet ﷺ can be categorized. One, direct commands to obey the Prophet. As we said in Surah 59 verse 7, whatever the Prophet or the Messenger order you to do, take it. وَمَا آتَاكُمُ الرَّسُولُ فَخُذُوهُ وَمَا نَهَاكُمْ عَنْهُ فَانْتَهُوا, and deny yourselves that which He forbids you from. Also, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala pairing the command to obey the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam with the command to obey Allah. In the same verse, Allah said, يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا أَطِيعُوا اللَّهَ وَأَطِيعُوا الرَّسُولَ. O who you believe, obey Allah and obey the Prophet. Surah 4 verse 59. Making the obedience of the Prophet a sign of Iman. The Prophet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, إنما كان قول المؤمنين إذا دعوا إلى الله ورسوله ليحكم بينهم أن يقولوا سمعنا وأطعنا أولئك هم المفلحون. The answer of the believers, the one who believe, when someone asks them to or to submit themselves to Allah and His Messenger in order that He may guide between them, is no other than saying, we heard, we obey, we submit. They are the successful one. And this Surah 24 verse 51. We'll stop here, and I'll see you inshallah the next episode to continue talking about the evidence proving the obligation to follow the Sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I will leave you with Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.